1, the official week 1. Although, like I said in my last podcast, week 0 is in the books, which is a stupid-ass name for it, because it's actually week 1. But the official week 1 in their books is upon us, where we have a lot of good games this week. And today, I'm going to talk about those running Utes from Utah going down to the swamp to play those Florida Gators. Is it finally time for Utah to stand up on a national scope and be a national championship contending program after winning their first Pac-12 title last year? Let's talk about it. The home of the Common Joe and the Common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. It's almost here. It's the final countdown, like that old 80s song, The Final Countdown by Europe. We're in the last few days before the official week 1 of college football. Yeah, we waited our taste with a few pretty blah games last week in week 0. But now it's the official first week. We've got a lot of big games this week. And the first one I'd like to talk about is the Utah Utes. Those running Utes from Salt Lake City are traveling all the way down to the swamp to play the University of Florida and those Gators. This is a game that's really going to be able to tell us a lot about Utah, in my opinion, as a program and where they're at and where they're going to go here toward forward. But before I get out to all that, I'd like to say that I am the OCF. This is the Outlaw of College Football. I can also be found on Twitter at OCF Productions, as well as on Facebook under Jesse Paul Clark. Now, getting right to it, I have hopes for Utah. I really like Utah. Their fans have been obnoxious at times, but for the most part, I think they're just passionate and rabid. As my podcast partner, Jonathan Lewis, found out when he made a video about him a couple of days ago. They've been railing on his ass ever since. I told him, I was like, man, you have to watch them Utah fans, man. When I was in that Sugar Bowl down there, I went to see my team Alabama play, and Utah handed us our ass. And they're pretty in-your-face type of fans. That can be a good thing or a bad thing, but nevertheless, very passionate fan base. So I'd like to see Utah get to the next level, at least make the playoffs this year, the national playoffs. Not win your conference championship game, but make the national playoffs. Because it's very rare opportunities that you get to step up and be one of the few elite teams that have won a national championship in college football. We don't have many first-time winners. I mean, it's far and few and in between. And a lot of people are like, well, what about Clemson? What about Auburn? Them programs had actually won national championships back in the 20th century. I'm talking about just a pure first-time national champion. We haven't had that in a while. It's been a while. So, Utah has a chance to be one of those teams. One of those rare teams. The last one I remember is the Miami Hurricanes. You know, Miami Hurricanes never won national championships in the 1980s. They got to that level. They'd been ever so slightly creeping up, and they finally got to that level. They played in a national championship type game against Nebraska, had an iconic win, 31-30. And therefore, they sort of like an avalanche for them. Once they got that first national championship, Miami went on to win 5 more. I think Utah could be in the same scenario. If they can, but the first they're going to have to go down here to SEC country where everybody adores college football. And everybody, they may not admit it, even the Big Ten, the Pac-12, everybody knows that the SEC is where it's at, and where if you can go down there and you can win down there, you can win anywhere. So if Utah can go to the swamp and pull this game off, I think it's going to go a long way in pushing them to be that first time winner of a national championship since the Miami Hurricanes, I think. And you could say that the team, the Washington Huskies, back I think is 1991 or something like that. But I think Washington actually won a national championship before that. But it's been a long time since we had a first-time winner. A long time. Like I said, I think a 1983 Miami team. So now Utah has that chance to make history this year. A lot of people are pushing Utah to be in the playoff this year. But this game right here is a proving point. If you can go to Florida and win that game, but you also got to realize this, you're doing this for the whole state of Utah. Because Utah State's coming down here too. Your little brother from Logan, Utah is coming down here too to take an ass whooping. So, you don't want to let your little brother get his ass whooped and you get your ass whooped too. Because that'll be a bad look for the whole state of Utah. And BYU will still be considered the premier program. That's the only program in that state that's won a national championship in a sport that matters. So now, it's your time, Utah. Take the bull by the horns, and people are going to start taking you really seriously. Even though Florida's not at their best right now. They got a first-year coach in Billy Napier. He's got a pretty good record. I think he's like 40-13 or 40-12 or something like that. Very good record. But it's his first time on the big stage, too, as a head coach. So he has something to prove. Florida has a great quarterback in Anthony Richardson. Utah probably has an even better quarterback in Cameron Rising. Both defenses are pretty decent. So this is not a game that either team can take lightly. And it's going to go a long way into molding their season. I think Utah needs this game a little bit more to try to push themselves as a national brand, an up-and-coming, maybe first-time national champion. More so than Florida. Florida has a new head coach, so there's going to be a honeymoon period there, maybe. You never know with the Florida Gator fan base. Them some crazy guys too down there. They almost like a cult. But this is a game that Utah really needs. And that's why I think in this game that if Utah, the key for Utah to me is maybe getting a couple early scores. If you can get up 14-0 or 10-0 to start this game, that can go a long way in helping you achieve what you need to achieve in this game and take you a nice win back home to Salt Lake City and parlay that into maybe a national championship playoff type run. Anthony Richardson, he was hit or miss last year, but the guy's got exceptional potential. My question is, what it's going to come down to is not the obvious. Everybody thinks it's down to Cameron Rising and how he can do against Florida. I think it's how Anthony Richardson can do against the Utah defense. If Anthony Richardson can get some kinks out and be a little more consistent in what he does, Utah could be in for a long day. But in the end, I think Utah is there. I think they're finally going to try to get there. I think they're going to win this game in the swamp. It's going to be close. I think in the end, Utah will find a way to pull this thing out. And I'll say they'll probably win this game by anywhere from 7 to 10 points. You guys and gals, give me your prediction on this game. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.